Welcome to Dark Tale Delights. Thanks for listening to the stories I post, and if you like the stories, please subscribe and like the channel to help us grow. If you have a story to tell, send it to me and I will consider recording it to share here on my channel. Now, enjoy the story. In the dimly lit alley of a bustling city, where shadows danced with secrets and danger lurked around every corner, a heinous crime had unfolded. It was a cold and unforgiving night, the kind that seemed to cloak the world in an eerie silence. And amidst the echoes of distant sirens, the life of a young stripper was snuffed out in an instant. At the center of this dark tale lies the enigmatic Grace, a dancer with a heart full of dreams and a past shrouded in mystery. Grace was a woman of contradictions, her radiant smile masking the pain she carried within. Night after night, she would grace the stage of the Red Velvet Lounge, captivating the hearts of many with her mesmerizing moves. But Grace possessed a secret that would eventually seal her tragic fate. The allure of the city's underbelly had ensnared her, drawing her into a web of deceit and danger. Unbeknownst to her adoring audience, she had become entangled in the treacherous world of organized crime. Detective Jack Steele was assigned to the case, a man with a haunted past and an unyielding determination to seek justice. With his sharp instincts and meticulous attention to detail, he delved deep into the sordid underbelly of the city, unraveling threads that led him closer to the truth. As Jack dug deeper, he discovered a complex network of corruption, where greed and betrayal walked hand in hand. He spoke to witnesses who had seen Grace in the company of powerful individuals, who seemed to have more to hide than innocent intentions. The closer he got to the truth, the darker the path became, and Jack found himself treading on thin ice. The chilling truth began to emerge, a truth that shook the very foundations of the city. Grace's murder was not a random act of violence, but a carefully orchestrated plot to silence her forever. With each discovery, Jack realized that Grace's death was merely a pawn piece in a much larger game, a game played by those with power and influence. As the investigation intensified, Jack found himself drawn into a web of danger, unsure of who to trust. Each step he took seemed to push him closer to the edge, making it harder to separate allies from enemies. Was it a jealous lover seeking revenge? Or perhaps a rival in the world of crime, eliminating any threats to their empire? With a relentless determination, Jack followed the breadcrumbs left behind, leading him to the doorstep of a notorious crime lord. As the final pieces of the puzzle fell into place, he realized the depth of the conspiracy that had unfolded before his very eyes. But when Jack finally confronted the crime lord, the truth twisted and turned, eluding his grasp. The crime lord's smug smirk hinted at a game far from over. He spoke cryptically, leaving Jack with more questions than answers. As the story reaches its climax, Jack stands at a crossroads, torn between closing the case and continuing his pursuit of justice. The open ending allows for expansion, leaving readers with a lingering sense of curiosity. What lies beyond the next street corner? And will justice ever truly be served? In the haunting streets of this city, where shadows whispered tales of corruption and deceit, the fate of Grace lingers in the air, waiting to be unraveled. And as Detective Jack Steele delves deeper into the heart of darkness, the truth remains just out of reach, leaving the reader to speculate and wonder what lies ahead. In a dimly lit city, where darkness seemed to creep into every corner, Detective Sam Barnes found himself facing yet another gruesome murder scene. The night air was heavy with tension as he carefully stepped around the yellow tape, approaching the lifeless body of a young woman. She lay motionless in a pool of crimson, her delicate features contrasting starkly with the brutality of her demise. Sam's trained eyes took in every detail, searching for any clue that might lead him closer to unraveling this twisted puzzle. The victim was Amanda Carter, a 25-year-old stripper known for her seductive performances at the Scarlet Lounge. Sam had seen her show once, purely for investigation purposes, and was taken aback by her undeniable beauty. Her tragic fate weighed heavily on his heart as he pledged to bring her killer to justice. As he scanned the area, his eyes caught sight of a discarded bouquet of roses nearby. The petals were crushed, as if they had been trampled upon in a fit of rage. Sam knelt down, carefully bagging the evidence, wondering if it held a vital clue to the enigma before him. Hours turned into days as Sam delved deeper into Amanda's life, interviewing everyone who had known her. Each witness provided a glimpse into her world, filled with secrets and hidden desires. Among them was Marco, a regular at the Scarlet Lounge, who had been captivated by Amanda's performances. He described her as an enigmatic woman, shrouded in mystery. Sam couldn't shake off the nagging feeling that Amanda's death was more than just a random act of violence. There was a sinister undertone that infiltrated his intuition, urging him to explore deeper into the shadows that consumed the city. One night, as Sam made his way through the labyrinthine back alleys, he stumbled upon an old underground club, hidden away from prying eyes. The walls echoed with the faint sounds of laughter and whispers, drawing him closer. Pushing open the creaking door, he entered a den of secrets. The room was dimly lit, filled with a motley crew of patrons, all seemingly engrossed in their own stories. Sam's eyes fell upon a woman in the corner, her piercing gaze locked upon him. There was something in her eyes, a familiarity that made his heart skip a beat. It was Amanda's sister, Laura. Laura Carter had been missing for years, her trail gone cold. Sam had spent endless nights searching for her, convinced that her disappearance was connected to Amanda's murder. Now, here she was, alive and seemingly unscathed. Their eyes met, and Laura's expression hardened. "So you finally found me," she said, her voice dripping with bitterness. Sam approached her cautiously, his mind racing with questions. "Laura, what happened? Why did you disappear?" Laura's eyes darted around the room, her fear palpable. "I had to disappear. I saw things I wasn't supposed to see. They killed Amanda because she got too close to the truth." The truth. Sam knew it was lurking in the shadows, waiting to be exposed. But as he stood there, face to face with Laura, he also realized that the truth had its price. A price that Amanda had paid with her life. The story of Amanda's murder had come full circle, but the journey wasn't over. The city's dark underbelly had been exposed, and the powers at play would stop at nothing to silence those who knew too much. Sam had to make a choice, to continue his pursuit of justice, risking everything, or to let it go, allowing the darkness to prevail. And so, dear reader, I'll leave you with this open ending, where the detective's story remains unfinished. Will Sam choose to confront the powerful forces at play? Or will he succumb to the overwhelming weight of uncertainty? The power to decide lies within your imagination. Detective Jake Malone sighed as he gazed out of the rain-streaked window of his cramped office. The city below was a sea of neon lights and shadows, hiding secrets that begged to be uncovered. I took a sip of lukewarm coffee and glanced at the stack of case files on my desk. One in particular caught my eye, the murder of Lily Thompson, a young woman with a troubled past, found lifeless in the river. Lily was no stranger to the streets. She walked the thin line between survival and despair, her life marred by choices that led her down a dangerous path. As I read through the details of her case, I couldn't help but wonder who could have taken her life and dumped her in the cold, unforgiving river. The rain continued to drum against the window as I made my way to the crime scene. The riverbank was a desolate place, a haunting backdrop to the tragic end of Lily's journey. My partner, Detective Carla Rodriguez, met me there, her face etched with concern. "Jake, this one's rough," Carla said, her voice a low murmur against the sound of rain. I nodded, bracing myself for what lay ahead. The forensic team was already at work, their flashlights cutting through the darkness as they combed the area for clues. As I approached Lily's lifeless form, a shiver ran down my spine. "Any leads, Carla?" I asked, my breath visible in the chilly night air. She shook her head, her eyes narrowing in frustration. Nothing so far. It's like she vanished into thin air before ending up here. I knelt beside Lily's body, studying her face for any hint of the life she had led. The bruises on her arms told a story of struggle, and the vacant stare in her eyes hinted at a pain that went deeper than the river. The investigation began in earnest. Interviews with those who knew Lily revealed a web of connections and secrets. The more I delved into her life, the more I realized how many people had a reason to want her silenced. The streets were unforgiving, and loyalty was a rare commodity. Days turned into nights, and the case grew colder. The city held its breath as we chased shadows through alleyways and dimly lit corners. Lily's death weighed on me, a heavy burden that refused to lift. Then, a breakthrough came in the form of a witness, a fellow street worker who claimed to have seen Lily with a mysterious man on the night of her death. He was tall, wore a dark coat, and had a scar on his left cheek, the witness said, her eyes wide with fear. With a potential lead in hand, Carla and I scoured the city for a man fitting the description. Days turned into weeks, but the scarred stranger remained elusive. Just when I thought we were at a dead end, a phone call changed everything. "Detective Malone, you might want to check out the old warehouse on Baker Street," an anonymous voice whispered through the phone. The warehouse stood like a forgotten relic, its crumbling walls echoing with the ghosts of the past. As we entered, the air thickened with tension. The dim light from our flashlights revealed a scene straight out of a nightmare, photographs of women, their eyes haunted by the same pain that Lily's had held. "He's been watching them," Carla whispered, her voice barely audible over the creaking of the building. We moved cautiously through the warehouse, following the chilling trail of evidence. And then, in a small, dimly lit room, we found him, the scarred man from the witness's description. His eyes held a darkness that sent shivers down my spine. "Who are you?" I demanded, my hand on my gun. He chuckled, a sound devoid of remorse. "Just a spectator, detective. Watching the show." As we arrested him, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this twisted tale than met the eye. The scarred man remained tight-lipped, his gaze locked on mine as if daring me to uncover the truth. Back at the precinct, the interrogation room felt like a battleground of wills. "Talk, damn it." I slammed my fist on the table, frustration boiling over. But he remained silent, a smug smile playing on his lips. Frustrated and exhausted, I pored over the case files once again, searching for that one missing piece that would unravel the mystery. Then it hit me, Lily's past held the key. As I dug deeper into her history, I discovered a connection that sent shockwaves through my investigation. Lily wasn't just a random victim, she was a pawn in a game of power and revenge. The scarred man, it turned out, was an enforcer for a wealthy businessman named Victor Donnelly. Lily had unwittingly become entangled in a web of deceit and betrayal that reached far beyond the city's gritty streets. Donnelly, a man with a penchant for control, had orchestrated Lily's murder to send a message to those who dared to defy him. I confronted Donnelly in his luxurious penthouse. The city sprawled out beneath us like a kingdom he believed he ruled. His calm demeanor crumbled as I laid out the evidence, the walls closing in on him. "You can't prove anything," he spat, his eyes darting around the room. But I had him cornered, and he knew it. The scarred man, once a loyal servant, now turned against his master, revealing the dark secrets that Donnelly had fought so hard to bury. As the cuffs clicked into place, I couldn't help but feel a mix of satisfaction and emptiness. The case was closed, justice served, but the city below still pulsed with the same darkness that had claimed Lily's life. In the end, The shocking twist wasn't just about solving the murder but uncovering the layers of corruption that festered beneath the surface. Lily's death was a symptom of a much larger disease, and as I walked away from Donnelly's penthouse, I couldn't help but wonder how many more shadows lurked in the corners, waiting to be exposed. The city's secrets ran deep, and the detective's job was never truly done.